warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day. This is my group members, and today we would like to present on segmental reporting and interim reporting of Telekom Malaysia Berhad. Telekom Malaysia Berhad, or also known as TM Berhad, is a Malaysian telecommunications company that was founded on 12 October 1984. Beginning as the national telecommunications company for fixed line, radio and television broadcasting services, it has evolved to become the country's largest provider of broadband services, data fixed line, pay television and network services. With a total of 2.23 million broadband subscribers in 2014, Unify is Malaysia's first high-speed fiber optic broadband service. TM operates through the following segments, which is Unify, TM1, TM Global, and Shared Service and others. As for the year ended 31st December 2021, Telekom Malaysia Berhad earned revenue of RM11.53 billion, where they recorded 6.4% rise from the year of 2020, and the company closed its account at the end of 31st December every year. Until this day, TM Malaysia Berhad has owned numbers of subsidiaries, including Unify, Telekom Research and Development TM-R&D, Multimedia University MMU, Multimedia College MMC, Kuala Lumpur Tower, Alostar Tower, Telekom Museum, TM1 Fibercom Network, Sdn Berhad, and Fiber Rail Sdn Berhad. There are some factors that should be taken into consideration while having a segmental reporting. Firstly is nature of the products or services. Telekom Malaysia Berhad is engaged in the establishment of maintenance and provision of telecommunications and related services. TM Berhad operates in 4 segments, which are Unify, TM1, TM Global, and Shared Service and others. First and foremost is the Unify segment, where it operates in retail business, which provides a range of telecommunication services and communication solutions to households, individuals, as well as small and medium enterprise companies. As for TM1 segment, they operate for small and medium business, as well as corporate and governance customers, except for business, which provides only voice and internet and multimedia services. Next, the TM Global segment covers the wholesale telecommunications services delivered over the group's networks to domestic and international carriers. And lastly, the Shared Services and Others segment refers to the information technology and network and its subsidiaries. Secondly is type of class of customer for products and services. TM Berhad provides wide range of telecommunication services and communication solutions to households, individuals, as well as small and medium enterprise companies, corporate and government customers, except for business, which provides only voice and internet and multimedia services, and they also covers the wholesale telecommunications services delivered over the group's networks to domestic and international carriers. Next factor is nature of production process. Telekom Malaysia Berhad TM is Malaysia's leading integrated telco and the country's national connectivity and digital infrastructure provider, providing a comprehensive suite of communication services and solutions in fixed, which are telephony and broadband, mobility, content, Wi-Fi, ICT, cloud, and smart services. In a highly competitive environment, TM is driven by stakeholder value creation and places emphasis on delivering an enhanced customer experience through continuous customer service quality improvements and innovations, while focusing on increased operational efficiency and productivity. Lastly is the distribution method of the products or services. TM Berhad has collaborated with 9 tower providers, or also known as tower costs in Malaysia, enabling access to tower sites facilities. These 9 tower costs are the members of Persatuan Penyedia Infrastruktur Telekomunikasi (PPIT). The 9 tower costs will provide TM with access to their tower sites, including land and rooftop facilities. As part of the collaboration, this will allow TM to connect the towers to its high-speed fiber optic network, enabling it to provide high-quality network performance and capability. There are 2 types of segments that Telekom Malaysia has, which are business segment and geographical segment. What exactly is a business segment? A business segment is a distinct component of an entity that provides goods and services. The geographical segment comes next. It is a market segment in which a distinguishable component of an entity engaged in providing products or services within a specific economic environment. Let's now move to the Chief Operating Decision Maker, or also known as CODM in Telekom Malaysia Berhad. First is Tan Sri Mohammed Azlan Hashim. He was appointed as a non-independent, non-executive chairman of Telekom Malaysia Berhad on 1st August 2021. Secondly is Datuk Anis Rizana binti Muhammad Zainuddin. She was appointed as non-independent, non-executive director on 1st July 2020. Third is Imri Mokhtar. He was appointed as Managing Director and Group Chief Executive Officer on 1st August 2020. Next is Raja Nazrina Raja Othman as Chief Information Security Officer. She was appointed with this position on 1st September 2021. Ivan Chong was appointed as a Chief Information Officer on 1st September 2022. Next is Mohammed Tajul Mohammed Sultan as Chief Network Officer. He was appointed with the position on 1st November 2020. And last but not least is Anand Vijayan. He was appointed as Chief Commercial Officer and EVP of Unify on 1st February 2020. Next is the responsibilities of this CODM. The first is that they have the ability to assess the performance of various segments. The Chief Operating Decision Maker (CODM) must determine whether the business is being managed properly and ethically while managing day-to-day business operations. Secondly, the CODM must make a decision on the segment's resource allocation. CODM must have a long-term value creation strategy that includes strategies for economic, environmental, and social considerations. Lastly, the CODM is in charge of identifying major risks in the business. They must ensure that an appropriate system is in place to manage, evaluate, identify, and monitor significant financial and non-financial risks.
Next, we move on to the identification of reportable and non-reportable segment. The process to identify the reportable and non-reportable segment is based on MFRS 8, where entity is required to use a certain amount of judgment in determining the operating segment of the company by conducting 10% threshold test and 75% total revenue requirement, which also known as 75% rule. The business segment are to be disclosed separately and classified as reportable segment if it meet at least 10% of threshold test and 75% total revenue requirement respectively. There are three methods of the 10% threshold test, which are revenue basis, profit or loss basis, and asset basis. Meanwhile, for the 75% rule, it will only be conducted based on the revenue basis of 10% threshold test to determining whether the segment exceed the 75% or not. For the revenue basis, it's reported revenues from sale to external customer and inter-segment sales, which is 10% or more of the combine of external and internal revenues of all operating segments. Meanwhile, for the profit or loss basis, use absolute amount of the segment reported profit or loss, which are 10% or more of the greatest number. Lastly, for the asset basis, segment asset must be 10% or more of the total asset of all operating segment. Additional information, other operating segment that did not meet the 10% threshold will be combined and classified as all operating segments. Okay, next, what is 75% rule? It is a total external revenue attributable to those reportable segments that must be at least 75% of the entity's total revenue. If the amount did not exceed 75%, it must be added with the non-reportable segment, which is the highest one, until it exceeds at least 75% of the entity. Hence, at the end, the added one also will be classified as reportable segment even though it does not meet the 10% threshold test. For Telekom Berhad, we'll use the revenue basis in order to calculate 10% threshold test as well as 75% rule in identifying the operating segment of the company. Based on the annual report, the total of external and internal revenue is 1,406,173,749 is used to measure the 10% threshold test of the company. Since there are 5 operating segments of the Telekom Berhad, the 10% test has resulted in 4 reportable segments and 1 non-reportable segment. As per calculation, the reportable segments are Unified, TM1, TM Wholesale, and TM Fiber has produced 38.39%, 23.64%, 19.06%, and 14.96% respectively, whereas shared service and others is indicated as non-reportable segment since it results below than 10%. From the calculation of 10% test revenue basis, the 75% rule is conducted by dividing total external revenue for reportable segment of 1,260,367,836 with total external revenue for all operating segments. The result of 75% rule Telekom Berhad is 89.63%, which exceeds 75%. Therefore, the existing reportable segments which are Unified, TM1, TM Wholesale, and also TM Fiber will remain and no additional segment should be reported. As soon, the new segmental report of Telekom Berhad is reconstructed, which are reproducing 4 reportable segments and 1 non-reportable segment. The 4 reportable segments consist of Unified, TM1, TM Wholesale, and also TM Fiber, whereas the non-reportable segment is shared services and others. Hence, the adjustment of operating segment by both tests are essential in determining the reportable and non-reportable segment as well as the preparation of segmental report. In this report also, we can find out the profit for the financial year end for Telekom Berhad, which are 692,741,076. So, what are the benefits of having segmental reporting? First and foremost, it will create better decision making. Segment reporting will have the chief operating decision making in Telekom Berhad to make decisions in allocating the company resources. This is because each segment shows its own profit and performance. Next, segmental reporting can analyze company performance. For instance, for the segmental report shows one operating segment that will contribute more performance of the company. Last but not least, the investor will have a clear view for the future investment. Shareholder will be aware on the situation of the company since this segmental report shows the detail and perspective that they are being taken into consideration by making the decision. So, it will indicate their interest to make new progress for the company. These are disadvantages of segment report. The first one is misleading and difficulty in understanding about the segment report by the external users. Segment information is made through the eyes of the management and often make an arbitrary judgment to develop such segment data for internal management users. This nature and limitation of segment informations make the external user have difficulty in understanding, and not all of the information is useful for them in making investment decisions. Next is the result of segment report presented to external user could lead to the competitive damage. This is when the confidential information could be revealed to external users such as profitable and unprofitable products, weaknesses of the product that may induce the competitors to take the advantage of the weaknesses. This kind of disclosure might harm the operating company. The last one is lack of relevance of segment result due to shorter periods. The relevance of segment result become less precise, leading to inaccurate decision making. Estimate and judgment based on the segment report also may not be accurate for decision regarding to the company due to shorter periods.
Next, for Part B, Interim Report MFRS 134, the basis of preparations of the interim report. According to the FAR570, interim financial report is a financial report containing either a complete set of financial statements as per FAR101 or a set of condensed financial statements as described in this standard, which is FAR134, for an interim period. Integral method is the first method that is used in the interim report. It is fractions of the annual report, and annual values is times fractions of the reporting period. The interim report is viewed as a part of a large time frame. The second method is discrete method. Interim period is a separate period, and reports are prepared on a periodic basis. IAS 36 and 34 does not allow subsequent misstatement of interim period. Each period must stand on its own. Telekom Malaysia Berhad used a discrete method in preparing an interim report since an interim report is prepared on a periodic basis. The unaudited interim financial statement have been prepared in accordance with MFRS 134, which is interim financial reporting, and paragraph 9.22 of the listing requirements of the Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. The unaudited interim financial statement should be read in conjunction with the audited financial statement of the group for the year ended 31st December 2019. When preparing a financial report, the company gets to choose whether to present a complete set of the financial statements or condensed consolidated financial statement. Telekom Malaysia Berhad choose to present condensed consolidated financial statement, which consists of condensed consolidated statement of financial position, condensed consolidated comprehensive income, condensed consolidated changes in equity, condensed consolidated statement of the cash flow, and notes to the unaudited interim financial report. Move to the next, accounting policies used in preparing the interim report. The first policy is MFRS 116, property, plant and equipment. All items of property, plant and equipment are initially measured at a cost, and cost includes expenditure that is directly attributable to the acquisitions of the asset. Subsequent costs are included in the assets carrying amount or recognized as a separate asset only when it is expected to the future economic benefits will flow to the group and the cost can be measured reliably. All the other replays of the maintenance are charged to the profit or loss during the financial period in which they are incurred, except for the freehold land are stated at a cost less accumulated depreciation and any accumulated impairment losses. It is because freehold land has an unlimited useful life and therefore not depreciated but reviewed at each reporting date to determine whether there is an indications of the impairment. Capital work in progress is not depreciated as these assets are not available for the use. Telekom Malaysia Berhad used straight-line method to write off the cost of the assets to their residual values on a straight-line basis over their useful life. The second policy is MFRS 102 inventories, measured at a lower cost and net realizable value, whichever is lower, based on MFRS 102 inventories. Cost is determined on the first-in, first-out basis, the weighted average cost methods or specific identification. Net realizable value represents the estimated selling price in the ordinary cost of the business less all the estimated costs to the completion and lease estimated costs necessary to make the sale. For example, property inventories, property acquired or being constructed for the sale in the ordinary course of business rather than to be held for the rental or capital appreciation is held inventory and is measured at the lower cost and net realizable value. Next, the type of interim reports prepared by the company. In order to avoid repetitions of information that has been reported previously, a company needs to provide the latest complete set of annual financial statement, as the standard is defined as the minimum content of an interim financial report. The minimum components of an interim financial includes condensed statement of financial position, condensed statement of profit or loss and the other comprehensive income, condensed statement of changes in equity, condensed statement cash flows, and selected explanatory notes. Based on the Telekom Malaysia Berhad financial statement, its interim report is prepared quarterly. This is to provide investors or creditors timely and reliable information which can evaluate the company to generate earnings and cash flow as well as its financial conditions and liquidity. Due to the pandemic of COVID-19, Telekom Malaysia Berhad is experiencing difficulty in lockdown, which is involved all around the world, as the company is known as the #1 communication service provider in Malaysia. The basic objective of the financial reporting is to provide useful information to the investors, creditors, and the other users with a more timely or the current information.
Now, I want to talk about the period for current and comparative. We choose to discuss about the second quarter of financial period, which is start from 1st April 2022 until 30 June 2022. First is statement of financial position for current interim report, which consists of 3 months from 1st April 2022 until 30 June 2022, and its comparative is consists of 12 months from 1st January 2021 until 31st December 2021. Next is statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for current interim period, which has reporting period of 3 months from 1st April 2022 until 30 June 2022, while for the comparative is from 1st January 2021 until 30 June 2021. For cumulative current interim period is 6 months from 1st January 2022 until 30 June 2022, while comparative is from 1st January 2021 until 30 June 2021. Lastly is statement of cash flow and statement of changes in equity for current interim period is from 1st January 2021 until 30 June 2021, which consists of 6 months. Meanwhile, for its comparative is from 1st January 2021 until 30 June 2021. There are 2 adjustments made by the company. First one is adjustment on share capital. The adjustment takes place on 1st April 2022. The company has issued 3 million units of new share amounted to 1 ringgit per unit to increase their financial. Before the adjustment, as at 30 June 2022, the amount of share capital is 3,729,000, and after the issuance, the amount of share capital increased to 6,729,000. Second adjustment is on trade receivable. The adjustment is on 1st May 2022. There is 10% off estimated of the uncollectible trade receivable. It means that only 90% of trade receivable can be collected. As at 30 June 2022, the gross amount of trade receivable is 2,854,200. Therefore, the net amount to be reported is 2,568,780. Here is the extract of Statement of Financial Position for the year ended 30 June 2022 for Telekom Malaysia Berhad before and after the adjustment. It can be seen that there is an adjustment for trade receivable from RM 2,854,200 to 2,568,780, and also adjustment for share capital from 3,729,000 to 6,729,000.